Well met. Knights of the... Oh, I'm doing it. This is a video. I'm Mulatto Rants. This is Muscle and Magicka. And you... I'm sorry? Oh, no, I know this is the Thieves Guild. I'm doing a YouTube video. You, my friend, just accepted some security training. Now, excuse me, I've told you twice now that I'm trying to do it. Yeah, I realize that I'm not actually a security trainer. I'm just... Hold on, guys. Okay, sorry about that, guys. Apparently, in order to give out security training, you have to be a certified security instructor. I'm gonna try and make this video as quick as I can because I don't like the way these people are looking at me. Anyway, the reason that I'm trying to give out security training today is that I want to help you guys not fall into a very common trap that I see all over the place in the fitness and bodybuilding world. Now, as in most situations where we're dealing with traps, we're not talking about purely black and white here. There's the potential for both bad and good. It's only bad if you trigger the mechanism and end up getting caught in the trap. But if you want to get to the good, you just have to know the signs to watch for and how to disarm the trap. Let me explain. In this journey known as flexible dieting, I think there's sometimes a tendency to cling to what we're familiar with, to what we're used to. Like I said in the last quest, as humans, we are creatures of habit. Now, that's not necessarily a bad thing. And in fact, it can be a very good thing. It can be very convenient, for instance, to have 1 or 2 or 3 sort of daily meal templates that you default to on MyFitnessPal, okay? Especially if you're someone who's very busy, you have a very busy schedule, you don't have time to be cooking new foods and trying new recipes and looking up new things on MyFitnessPal and trying to create new combinations of meals that fit your macros. Sometimes it's nice just to have a template to default to. So obviously, if utilized correctly, structure and routine can be a very good thing. But at the same time, there are also some potential dangers. If you are eating the same foods, too much of the same foods day in and day out, for an extended period of time, that's when you start to run into issues with potential nutrient deficiencies. Now, obviously, the more whole foods you're eating in general, the less of an issue this is probably going to be. But let's say you're dieting on very low calories. Let's say you're maybe even dieting on low carbs, and you only have enough room to fit in your minimum 2 fruits and vegetable servings a day. Now, if you're eating the exact same 2 fruits and vegetables every single day for days on end for an extended period of time, weeks on weeks, it's very possible that you might put yourself in a situation where you have a whole lot of this particular vitamin or mineral and not very much of this one. So it's never a bad idea to vary things up, to switch things up from time to time, just to make sure you cover all your bases. The other bigger danger, in my opinion at least, is that sometimes too much structure and rigidity can lead to just as many issues with diet adherence as having no structure at all. Don't forget the flexibility that flexible dieting allows you. Now, this flexibility means that you have the flexibility to be very structured, very strict, very regimented if you want to be, if that's easier for you, if you're someone who, the more options you have in front of you, the more likely you are to get overwhelmed and throw in the towel and just fall off the deep end. But by that same token, don't be afraid to not wake up every morning and immediately plan out all your meals for the day. Don't be afraid to wing it. I think that sometimes we get so used to structuring and planning our diets, especially with apps like MyFitnessPal, that we end up locking ourselves into these decisions such that even though we may have a whole lot of calories to play with, we end up feeling very trapped. Because you decide for yourself every day, okay, this is what I'm going to eat, this is when I'm going to eat it, it's the same thing that I ate for the last week, month, year, etc., we end up actually causing these cravings and this false hunger that wouldn't have been there originally, and that pops up despite all the good food choices in the world. And this is actually something that I ran into personally on this previous cut that I've been on. I got to a point where I started developing these cravings and this false sense of hunger, and I'm thinking to myself, I'm eating all amounts of oats, fruits, vegetables, potatoes, these filling foods. Why am I feeling so hungry? I'm not even on very low calories. So I had to take a step back, and I compared this cut with the cut before it, which was my first ever cut, right? I had just discovered the joys of flexible dieting, and guys, I was eating like a complete moron. I mean, there were no fruits and vegetables. There was nothing but processed foods. I was on way too low of calories, but somehow back then, I didn't have any issues whatsoever, with adherence anyways. Now, health and performance, that would be another issue. But as far as adherence, I didn't have any problems whatsoever. And you compare the ridiculous food choices that I was making back then, there's no way I should have been full, compared to what I'm eating right now, where I'm specifically trying to get as much volume as possible, and you realize that the difference is that the first time around, life was an adventure. Every day was a new day, and I was trying new things all the time. Now, I'm not saying that you have to incorporate junk foods into your diet. I mean, by all means, especially if you know that junk foods are going to trigger you and cause you to go off of your plan, you just stick to whatever you do. All I'm saying is that even within the whole foods that you're eating, don't forget about variety. I mean, flexibility in flexible dieting doesn't just mean flexibility to incorporate processed foods. It's not just flexibility in what you eat, but when you eat, how often you eat, how you think about food, all of these things. Again, if you're someone who likes eating the same food every day for days on end, there's nothing necessarily wrong with that. If you're eating lots of fruits and vegetables and a variety of whole foods, you're probably going to be fine. I'm just saying that I thought I was that kind of person. I used to be that kind of person. I used to eat the same thing every day. I was very disciplined and I was fine with that. That was simpler for me. But over time, I've come to realize that I actually need a little bit more variety. So just know the signs to watch for, and if you are starting to experience cravings and your calories aren't that low, don't forget that flexibility should you need it. Anyway, I hope you... I hope you gained some security points from this video. Don't tell the Thieves Guild you got them from me. They'll be pissed. Until next time, you lot of rants. Logging out.